Thank you for liking my page and purchasing the book. If you haven't purchased it, get an opportunity. Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. I was asked, what made you write the Zimri Family? That was a very good question. And it's kind of funny because how it started, I need it as a relief because it started out as a children's story. When my kids were young, it started as a children's story and it kind of grew and then it lay dormant. But the story kept playing episodes in my head over and over and over. So when I was getting my when I was getting my doctorate in forensic psychology, I had to write a dissertation. And I remember I said, I got all my articles and all my information, got it together. I said, I want to get everything together so that I can focus on the writing of it. And for my relief from all of that scientific writing, I said, you know what? Why not? I wanted to challenge myself. I said, why not at the same time write the novel? So I was simultaneously writing my dissertation and the novel at the same time. So I remember getting my outline together and I was presenting it to my chairman. And I was excited. I'm like, this thing is moving along. And it was, to me, it was easier than I thought. I finally got it and I presented it to my chairman as I'm busy writing the story. So I'm like, man, this is going to be smooth sailing. And the chairman gets back to me and he says, the university, they rejected my topic because he said it would embarrass the university. And I was kind of floored. I said, really? Now, I had several articles, over 100 articles for my for that topic. And I had to throw it all out and start afresh, which meant I have to go back and do all this research, find all these articles. But at that time, I was already knee-deep in the story. Just to give a little background on the story. The story is set in 120 AD. It's the backdrop. It was before Christianity, and it was before the inception of Islam. And this was a time in this period where you had those that were, for example, the type of religion that was practiced during that time. In the kingdom of Zupajatan, to give you a little understanding of kingdom of Zupajatan is set on a high hill. It's set on a high hill, nestled between Bactria, which was a distance away, and then you have Mahajanapadas, is a distance away. Each kingdom had a what you'd call a buffer. That's the way kingdoms were. They had a buffer. It's not like you can, walk over the border to Canada or walk over the border to Mexico. No, they had a buffer where they took some traveling. And the road that connected Bactria and Mahajanapadas and Zupajatan was known as the caravan route. The caravan route carried all dignitaries from all regions, even as far as Greece. And the interesting thing, if I didn't say, is that this story is a historical fiction. The only fiction in the story is the kingdom of Zupajatan. That's it, and the characters therein. But the story unfolds with the practices, their religious practices. They worshipped Ishtar. Ishtar would be considered a lower, like an entry to mid-level deity that was worshipped. And how the worship took place, they had what is called temple laists. These were some of the women within the kingdoms, in the kingdom of Mahajanapadas, in the kingdom of Bactria, and in the kingdom of Zupajatan. They had these ladies. They would the families would donate their daughters to the temple, and they would sleep with the other guys, and they would pay homage to the temple. So it's like prostitution, but it was considered a religious practice, and that's something that actually went on. So it was considered an honor for families to give their daughters over to the temple. And the men who came and laid with these women, they also considered it homage, and it's an honor. Also, they had to pay pay the amount. Now, the greater amount that was paid was to the families, or to the families that gave their daughters that were virgin. Because they were virgins, that was an even greater price for that temple. And the reason that practice was that the deity act as a protector to the kingdom. So that was a way the kingdom was protected. This was their practice. And the interesting thing about that, this is the practice that actually worked when you do the historical research. Because I was doing research on a dissertation, and I said I'm doing research on this, so it was kind of interesting to find that out. Another part was what they call the advanced placement, which is known as Tophethites. And these were they were connected to Moloch. When you look up Tophet and Tophethites, these were those that worshipped Molech, and these were not for the common folk of kingdoms. These witches, if you will, were for dignitaries, kings, emperors. Some kings would actually travel with 3 to 4 to 6 Tophethets. And these witches would they would decimate kingdoms and so on and so forth. So it became a very dark art type engagement, because you'd have that in certain cases. And each kingdom practiced the same thing. So they had an understanding that we ain't gonna mess with them. We're gonna treat them right, because there was an order. If you just have the Ishtar temple layers, be satisfied. Don't sit up and try to go up against the upper echelon of the Tophethites. The interesting thing, those were some of the kings, and one particular practice that some of the kings would do if they really wanted to destroy an emperor or destroy a ruling family. The Tophethites would put spells. The dark arts would come out, and they put spells, and the king would send his men in, and they come in, and they drag the person out and bring them before the king in front of a great cauldron, and the person would kind of be in a coma state, and they throw him in the cauldron, cook him up, have him for dinner. And then because he did that, he takes the power that he had, and it becomes his power, thus making him even more powerful. These are practices that actually took place and during in actual Mahajanapadas and Bactria. And there's an order to how the things work here. Bactria is a ruling kingdom. They're a higher kingdom. And also, you're finding out that Mahajanapadas, they're a ruling kingdom, but it's kind of like they get orders from Bactria. Bactria is ruling, much like America. America says, we don't want this down in Venezuela. We don't like that. We want this. So the Latin American countries are going to have to line up, because Great America said we don't like that. So it's kind of like that. Not necessarily getting into their politics, but you've got an order. So that's one aspect that you see in the dark arts and the median arts. Another thing about Zukpajitam is that it's set up on a high hill. And on a bright day, as you can see now, you got the sun back up there on the wall. And on a bright day, you can see various colors glistening from the kingdom of Zukpajitam. You see the colors of pink. You would see the various Dazuko lilies. The Zuko lilies were plentiful in that region. You'd also see, what are they called? You see the Dazuko lilies. You see the royal blue tapestry. Those are the royal blue. Those are the colors of Zukpajitam, the royal blue. You see them various tapestries all throughout. It's like the flags around the kingdom. You see it up there in various regions. Everything is in an orderly way. Also, you see purple from the lavender, rows of lavender plants. And I mean, when the sun glistens, it's like, wow, you can see it in the great castle that you see in Zuk Pajatan. The Zuk Pajatan Castle has around the castle wall and on certain portions of the castle itself, there's gold. You know, there's gold fixtures. And when the sun hits it, I mean, it just lights up. And it makes the kingdom more inviting for those on the caravan route saying, hey, we're going up there, we're going to make some good money because those people want to spend money. And another thing that you see in the kingdom of Zukpashtam is that they make some of the greatest wine in all the region, from Mahajanapadas to Bactria. The wine that is made, because it's on an elevated, you have a different agricultural level. The grapes are a lot better. They're grown a lot better. You get a different taste. And I mean, because of that, that's another reason why so many want to visit and purchase in that region, which makes Zukpajatan a great place not only to visit but to purchase from. And they're known for their wines and lambskin. That's another great thing that is known for that region. That's you see in Zukpajatan. I know I talked about the caravan road. Caravan road is traveled by dignitaries as well as common folk. Most merchants travel to and fro to sell their goods. They go from all the way up into Bactria and beyond. Many people come to travel that road. What's another point I wanted to bring up? The smells. The smells that you smell. Of course, you're going to smell the animals, but because of the zucco lilies and the lilac. Oh, no, I didn't say lilac. This the purple plant. I can't think of the name. Like just there it goes. It flew out of my mind. Because of those two plants, you have those fragrances, and there's a lot of cooking. That's kind of like street vending, but people do a lot of cooking, so you get various smells. And when it rains, you get various fragrances. You don't get what you smell here, like you smell a lot of exhaust and diesel fuel burning. No, you get natural smells. You get the smells from the trees. So there's a lot. And then, Raychalk Forest kind of extends long. Raychalk Forest is very long, but it cuts the route. And that alone is a mysterious region, forest. Raychalk Forest is. It's within itself. It inhabits some of the most diverse types of animals, from pumas to black panthers to you name it, tigers every now and then. So it shows that the area is going to take you somewhere that you haven't been before. I talked about the Mahaj. I talked about the Tophathites. I like to really get into that. Another thing, the weapons and the warfare and the type of warfare. I love to get an opportunity to really delve deeply into that, because there's a form of martial arts that most of us are unfamiliar with. And when I was doing the research, I was shocked to find out there is a martial arts that was practiced. Yes, I was a practitioner for many years in Shotokan, Jeet Kune Do, Aikido. You name it. I was a martial arts mutt once upon a time. But this is different. So I'd love to take some time with that. But what I like to do is close for now and prepare and give you a little more information of what to expect when you delve into the novel of the Zimri family. So until next time, do tune in, like this page, and share it with all your friends. I really appreciate you coming by. I really appreciate you watching the video. And like and share. And if you have any comments or you have any questions that you would love answered at any time. Some things I'm not going to answer right now. I'm not going to answer stories from the book just as yet, because we're doing this great book drive for the movie. So I don't want to give too much away, but I'll answer as I see fit so that I won't leave you hanging. But if you have any other questions, maybe we can. But until next time, you have a great evening.